It's Wednesday, February 25th, 2026. It is the morning of the Nvidia earnings. Nvidia is going to be reporting earnings today after market close, and I'm recording this video before they report earnings. So in this video, I'm just going to do a pre-earnings call preview of what could happen after today's earnings call. As you all know, NVIDIA is probably the barometer at which the AI sector is measured upon. So the entire Wall Street community, every single investor is going to be locked in and paying attention to what NVIDIA has to say. And also, we're going to talk about what Wall Street is going to be looking for on this earnings call. So it's a very, very important earnings call, obviously, for the stock market. It's probably the biggest news driver this week. So let's dive in. So NVIDIA's earnings are definitely a key highlight this week. And they're going to be reporting earnings today, Wednesday, February 25th, when the market closes. And here's what a lot of analysts are forecasting. Number one, revenue. They're looking at revenue being roughly within the $66 billion range, which would be about a 70% year-over-year growth. Okay, so that's going to be a key metric that Wall Street is going to be looking for, is where do they land with regards to revenue. Now, when it comes to adjusted earnings per share, the expectation is that NVIDIA is going to come around $1.50 per share, which is also a sizable increase from last year. So those are going to be the key two metrics that Wall Street is going to be looking at. They're going to be looking at the revenue, and they're going to be looking at their earnings per share, their profitability. Now, remember that NVIDIA has beaten analyst estimate for more than a dozen consecutive quarters, right? So Wall Street is going to be watching closely to see if that streak continues, right? So for over 12 consecutive quarters, NVIDIA has beaten analyst estimates. So are they going to continue the streak? Only time will tell. Beyond the headline numbers, right? So beyond the revenue and the EPS, there's going to be a couple of big factors that investors are going to be watching. Number one, they're going to be paying attention to the demand center growth and AI spending. So NVIDIA's growth is really being driven by AI and data center chip sales, right? This is really the engine for their earnings story, right? And investors want to confirm that the spending from the hyperscalers like Microsoft, Google, Meta, Amazon remains strong. If there's any weakness from those hyperscalers, investors might become a little bit weary of NVIDIA going forward. The second thing that they're going to be paying attention to is their guidance and future outlook. So today's report isn't just going to be about the numbers from past results, right? So the revenue and the EPS, those are history. It's something that's already happened in the past. What Wall Street is going to be looking to hear is what is the management's guidance for the next quarter and for fiscal year 2027. That's really something that they're going to be scrutinized on, right? So if the guidance comes soft or somewhat cautious, it could trigger a broader sell-off within the tech ecosystem. So the guidance and future outlook for NVIDIA is going to be one thing that's going to be in focus. Number three, the margins and cost trends. So even if the revenue continues to grow, investors really want to see that your profit margin is also growing. So if you're growing your revenue, but you're also growing, your costs are going up, it could really squeeze your gross margins and signal challenges with regards to profitability and scale, right? So Wall Street wants to hear what that profit margin story is. So they're really going to be paying attention to, are the margins also growing, and are they able to kind of like reduce their cost? And then the last thing that I think is going to be a key agenda item for Wall Street is the whole China situation, right? So what is NVIDIA's exposure to the Chinese market? Are the restrictions on their, AI chip exports to China going to really impact future sales? And what's the update there? I think that's going to be something that Wall Street and even international investors would like to hear. Analysts at different firms remain bullish and are forecasting that there's going to be continued AI spending and infrastructure growth. However, there's a group of traders that are warning that the implied volatility is high, and even strong results might not push the stock significantly higher after earnings due to some of the options positioning. So right now, there are really two camps. So there's the bullish camp, right, where people still believe that growth is going to continue, demand center growth is going to remain resilient, and the guidance is strong. And there's this cautious case where, although the expectations are high and they could beat what analysts are forecasting, it might not be enough for there to be a really bullish case given everything that's going on. So let's talk about what could move the market after earnings. First, there's the bullish reaction. So the bullish reaction would be Nvidia beats their earnings really, really well. They issue a really, really strong guidance. And what that could do is not only just lift the Nvidia stock, but lift the entire chip sector and the broader tech space as well. You're going to see the risk appetite potentially rebound, pushing Nasdaq and the S&P 500 a little bit higher. And then you would see that gold and other safe havens could actually weaken as investors rotate back into the risky tech assets. So that could be the bullish reaction. Now, on the bearish side, Nvidia would probably give a weaker than expected guidance, or they might signal signs of slowing demand, and that could send tech stocks lower. And Nvidia could see a sharp post-earnings sell-off, right? The company might just see a major drop in their share price. And that could really be driven by a very cautious view around AI spending, and other AI-linked stocks could also drop. So in short, the market could see a big reaction either way. We could see it continue to set new all-time highs because of a bullish case based on the earnings, or we could see it reset to the downside because of a weak guidance and maybe an indication of slowing demand. Now, the long-term perspective to have here is that AI isn't going anywhere. So even if there might be some short-term volatility around Nvidia's earnings, one thing most analysts agree on is that AI spending and the data center build-outs are really now structural trends. And these are not just a short-term fad, but it's something that we're probably going to be experiencing over kind of like a long-term, medium-term period. And NVIDIA is still seen as the leader in GPUs and AI compute, and potentially other future platforms like next-gen AI chips. So what that could do is it could continue to drive growth if they can roll out some of these newer platforms on schedule. And while there are concerns that, there's this AI bubble that exists where valuations are racing way ahead of fundamentals, a solid earnings report tonight by NVIDIA could reinforce the narrative that NVIDIA is earning its premium valuation. So tonight's earnings report is more than just another quarterly update. I think it is really a litmus test for the entire AI investment thesis, as well as the tech market sentiment. Really, we've seen gold really skyrocket as people have been moving money into that safe haven asset. But today's earnings could literally have people liquidate some of their positions around gold and come back into the tech area. So if you're someone who's looking to, invest in the market, I think it's going to be important for you to pay attention to NVIDIA's earnings report today after market close. So I hope you liked the video, and feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. And there's some resources in the description that you can definitely check out, and I'll see you guys on the other side.